Welcome to this lesson on patents. In this lesson, I'll go over the 3 different kinds of patents that you can apply for and show you how they can protect your idea. So there are 3 kinds of patents: utility patents, design patents, and plant patents. According to the USPTO, utility patents may be granted to anyone who invents or discovers any new and useful process, machine, article of manufacture, composition of matter, or any new and useful improvement. Utility patents expire after 20 years. Let's go through some examples. An example of a process is one-click ordering from Amazon. Now, one-click ordering is something we take for granted today, but this was a new business process when Amazon first invented it, and it gave them a lot of advantages over their competition. A sewing machine is an obvious example of a machine. Machines are generally used to create articles of manufacture. The paperclip is a simple example of an article of manufacture. And an example of a composition of matter or a chemical formula is WD-40. And finally, any new and useful improvement on an existing patent is also eligible for a utility patent. The second kind of patent is a design patent. While utility patents protect how a product or process functions, design patents protect the look, form, or aesthetics of a product. According to the USPTO, design patents may be granted to anyone who invents a new, original, and ornamental design for an article of manufacture. Let's look at 3 examples of design patents: Uggs, the original Coca-Cola bottle, and the Statue of Liberty. Design patents expire after 15 years. Whether or not you like Uggs, we can all agree that they look unique. And if you were the one who thought of this unique design, you'd want to protect it so that other boot companies couldn't just copy your design once it started getting popular. Coca-Cola understood the importance of packaging to sell and differentiate their product, and that's why they patented the design of their bottle. If their competitor used the same bottle, that would make Coca-Cola less distinct. Now you may be wondering, why would anyone want to patent a statue? Think about it like this. If you designed the Statue of Liberty, would you be okay with other people selling miniature replicas or other souvenirs of your design without your permission? Probably not, right? A design patent would help prevent that from happening. Now, I have no idea if that was the designer's intention, but that's just one example of how a design patent offers protection. Notice that all 3 of our examples are a unique version of something that already existed. Uggs did not invent the boot, Coke did not invent the bottle, and the designer of the Statue of Liberty didn't invent the statue. However, what they're claiming is that their designs are unique in form and aesthetics, and therefore worthy of a design patent. And in all these cases, the USPTO agreed. If any of these functioned in some sort of new and novel way, they'd also be eligible for a utility patent. To show you how utility patents and design patents work, let's use the example of sunglasses. So if I invented sunglasses, the first thing I'd want to do is apply for a utility patent. The utility patent would protect the function of the sunglasses, how the darkened lenses protect the eyes from bright light, and how they improve vision on sunny days to increase safety. In addition to my utility patent, I could also apply for a design patent. The design patent would protect the form or look of the sunglasses. By doing that, the IP protection for my newly invented sunglasses is now stronger because both the function and the look are protected. Now, anything that resembled or functioned like sunglasses would be considered infringement on my patent, and I'd have the right to sue. This right would last for 20 years on the utility patent and 15 years on the design patent. Ray-Ban aviators were a good candidate for a design patent because of their unique look. However, because sunglasses were already invented, Ray-Ban would need to show that their aviators somehow improved upon the actual function in some way to be granted a utility patent. Ray-Ban may have argued that their aviators were specifically designed for pilots, and their function was different because the lenses were bigger. But the USPTO would probably push back on that argument and say that increasing the size of the lenses does not meet the criteria for novelty and non-obviousness. In other words, making the lenses bigger or smaller is an obvious design change that does not alter the function in a new or original way. The Oakley razor blade, on the other hand, may have been a very good candidate for both a design patent and a utility patent because of its unique look and because of its interchangeable parts. Oakley might have argued that the interchangeable parts aspect of their design was a new and novel functional improvement because this allowed users to buy replacement parts to fix and customize their sunglasses. Oakley also used the term eye shade rather than sunglasses because the razor blade has one big lens rather than two separate lenses. They may have also argued that having one lens to cover two eyes is both non-obvious and an improvement in functionality. Non-obvious because most of us have two eyes, so one would assume that you'd need two lenses, one for each eye like the Aviator, and an improvement in functionality because they were able to eliminate framing around the middle, bottom, and sides of the lens, which improves visibility. There are several key points I want you to take away from this example. Number one, I hope you're starting to see how novelty and non-obviousness can be argued, and how creativity plays a role in developing these arguments. I want you to start thinking about how your invention is novel and non-obvious. The next point I want you to understand is that a utility patent is much stronger than a design patent because it protects the fundamental nature of an invention. When you're granted a utility patent, the USPTO is acknowledging that your idea is new, novel, or original in how it functions. On the other hand, when the USPTO grants a design patent, all they're acknowledging is that your product looks unique or has some unique aesthetic characteristics. But they're not saying your product is in any way new, novel, or original in how it functions. The next takeaway is that you can surround your invention with as much IP protection as you want. That means you can apply for both a utility and design patent, and on top of that, you could trademark the name of your product and also trademark a logo to go along with that. Another point I want to make is that just because you can surround your invention with multiple pieces of IP protection doesn't mean you have to. I decided not to get a design patent on my first invention for two reasons. The primary reason was because of my limited budget, which is always a concern for independent inventors. And number two, my main priority was to always focus on getting the utility patent, because again, utility patents are the stronger of the two. You might also be wondering if it's worth just getting a design patent. The answer is yes, because the design patent can help you build, strengthen, and protect your brand if you invent something that's aesthetically cutting edge, like the Ray-Ban Aviator sunglass design. Large companies like Coca-Cola apply for design patents because design patents can be powerful brand building tools. The third type of patent is a plant patent. According to the USPTO, plant patents may be granted to anyone who invents or discovers and asexually reproduces any distinct and new variety of plant. Plant patents last for 20 years. Plant patents will not apply for most of you because independent inventors aren't usually involved with creating new and non-obvious asexually reproduced plants. If you'd like to read more about plant patents, I've attached an explanation taken from Patent It Yourself by David Pressman in the resources section. One last thing about patents. In the United States, the first to file gets priority. That just means that the first person to file a patent application is considered the inventor. Under the current law, it doesn't matter if you're the first person to think of an idea. You just have to be the first person to file. This is why you shouldn't tell anyone about your idea without using a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, which I'll go over in the next lesson. So let's review. There are three kinds of patents: utility, design, and plant. Utility patents protect the function of an invention, and they last for 20 years. Design patents protect the form or look of an invention, and they last for 15 years. Although utility patents are stronger than design patents can be very powerful on their own to protect your unique version of a product. Utility patents and design patents can work together to strengthen the protection of an invention. Plant patents protect new and distinct asexually reproduced plant varieties. They last for 20 years. Novelty and non-obviousness are the key factors in determining patentability. Creativity is a key part of building arguments for novelty and non-obviousness. If you want to learn more about patents, go to uspto.gov/patent. They have a lot of great resources to help you. You can find anything from basic FAQs to information about free assistance programs. They even have a section for independent inventors. So if you need to dig deeper for more specific information, use the official USPTO website. I'll provide a link in the master resource list. If you want to read more in depth about the different kinds of patents, I'll link to a really good article on NOLO.com, which will also be in the resource list. While NOLO.com is a great resource, I always confirm with the official USPTO website because they have the final word. That concludes this lesson on patents. I'll see you in the next lesson, which covers NDAs.